All right, there we go. We're going to talk about fire. So you think about, and really where a lot of this comes from is what I've seen in the last few years in this industry. So what I do at Federated is just equipment. That's all I do. I spend probably about 75% of my time in the ag side, about 20%, well 25% on the commercial and industrial side. I really don't spend a lot of time on the OPE side, but so that's all I do. I come to association events like this, or I'm in the field working with our salespeople calling on dealers. Okay, so so a lot of what you're going to see today is observations of what I've seen and things that we've seen as it relates to fire. So you think about fire, it's a major disruption in your business if you have one, right? It really has issues. Now there are things that are worse than fire, as Randy told me earlier today. Flood is worse, okay? So, but fire can be a disruption. Now, it's not as much of a disruption if you have multiple locations, because you can kind of make things work, right? But if you have one or two locations, it probably will likely put you out of business if you have a fire, okay? So we'll talk about that. So, a little bit about insurance in general. You go back to the 1752 to be exact, was when one of the first insurance companies was developed. And what do you think it was for? Fire. I'll give you an idea. We're talking about fire. Okay. It was for fire. All right. And who, again, if you want to win a INEDA mug for the people in the back row that don't have one, who invented the first fire insurance company or developed it? No, it wasn't us. It was a guy by the name of Benjamin Franklin. You ever heard of him? So he invented the first fire insurance company, and so we're going to talk about fire prevention here too. Whoops, where did we go? And so he also, at the same time, he invented some things to help with fire prevention. You want to guess what those were? Lightning rod. Okay. And then also the Franklin stove. Those things were developed at the same time by Ben Franklin. So not only did he want to sell the insurance, he wanted to make sure that he didn't have to pay claims. Okay, that's a good idea. That's how our business works. Okay? We make money when we don't pay claims. So, and ultimately it's better for you too, right? If you don't have claims. So what are the big issues we see with dealers driving? Okay, probably the biggest claims in terms of frequency is auto liability, just crashes in general. Work comp is, it's about the same as far as driving and work comp. And if you can figure that one out, you will have great insurance renewals all the time, okay? If you take care of your driving and your work comp. Weather. Have we seen weather issues in Iowa-Nebraska? Yeah, did anybody know what a derecho was? Okay, and we had one of those, what was that, 2020?
2020, there was another one, 18 months ago, 2 years ago.
Was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, that's a new one, right? So, weather claims have been more of an issue, and you think about dealerships, a lot of your buildings are big pole barn type construction roofs that are very vulnerable to weather type issue claims, right? But we're going to talk about fire today, so. Here's a quote. This is from an industry, Alliance Global Corporate and Specialty. So despite improvements in risk management, fire prevention over the years, fire explosion, take wildfires out of the mix here. It's the largest single identified cause of loss for corporate insurance. So we look at all the corporate insurance, business insurance claims, 21% of that is fire. That's a big number, right? 2016 it was about 8%, so it's gone up quite a bit. Anybody want to guess why? Has anything gone up quite a bit in the last few years? Yeah, cost of everything's kind of gone up. So, and so what are we seeing as far as what's causing this? It's preventative maintenance, mechanical, electrical, lithium batteries. Anybody got any of those? If you got a watch, you got a lithium battery. If you got a phone, you got a lithium battery. If you got a laptop, you got a lithium battery. They're everywhere, right? So there's a lot of them out there. Equipment fires. I'll talk a little bit about what we're seeing there. And then of course that last one there is inflation. There's my chart. My kids did not give me the Charty Party board game. Actually, I looked on Amazon. It's like a 4.5 star. Must be a pretty good game. I've never heard of it. You guys heard of it? So our frequency has gone up as far as fire losses, and then the average claim has gone up as well. So that's every type of business. At Federated, we insure about 1,400 ag, construction, industrial, and OPE dealers. And knock on, do we have wood? So far, year to date, we have not had a single fire, so that's good. That's much better than the last couple of years. So, and then we got this one: commercial construction inflation. Anybody have any construction projects in the last several years? On time, on budget? How'd that go?
Not on budget.
Not on time, not on budget, right? Why? Because everything is much more expensive, right? So that's the problem. So here's a little thing of, and I'll give you some parting gifts about wash bay posters that you can take with you here when we're done. But what I've seen in the last several years, and I'll tell you a story about some things that I ran into. Mark's probably heard me tell this story before, but so in September of 23, I'm out calling on dealers with our marketing people. And we're calling on this dealer that I knew had a fire, right? Because something big happens in your industry, it's in publications, and you can read about it. So I knew this dealer had a fire, and it was actually a big fire. It wiped out their entire location. It was up in Minnesota, so maybe if you're the right color, you may know which dealer this was. But anyway, we're talking, we don't insure them, which was good for us. And I'm like, hey, what happened? First of all, how's that claim going? Yeah, it's going well. They're working on the business income part of the loss, which is always kind of hard to try to figure out, right? What happened? He's like, well, we washed the tractor and we put it in. The fire happened in March. We put it inside at night because you got to do that, right? It's going to freeze up. And we had it on film. It literally started on fire. So the battery, electrical system, water and electricity doesn't mix very well, okay? It's gonna be like close to a $10 million claim that will, once it gets paid, that's about what it will be. So then, a month later, I got a meeting up in the Northeast, and I'm calling on I'm meeting with a board, an association board up there, and I'm talking to a dealer that I know, it's our client, had a claim, a fire claim. Okay, so first thing I asked him, I'm like, Brian, how's that claim going? He's like, going good. You guys are doing a good job. I'm like, good. Okay. What happened? So they washed the tractor. It was like a February type claim. They washed it in February, and they, during the winter, put it inside. He's staying at the business late, and he can smell the smoke. And goes back, looks in the shop, this thing started on fire. All right. A month later, I'm at a convention, we're still in 2023, and this one dealer, one of our clients, he left early, he had to go home, something was going on. 2 days later, our sales manager calls me, he's like, hey, do you know what happened to Mike? I'm like, no, what happened? They had a fire. And then of course, our marketing guys go, it wasn't much, just a little smoke damage. Okay, smoke damage today is like $1 million and $1.5 million claim. Okay, so I called him up, called the dealer up, and what do you think happened? Washed the tractor, put it inside. This is November. It's going to freeze up. You got to put it in. Started on fire. Okay. A month later, 2023 was just an amazing year. I'm talking to I'm at a Federated Christmas party, and I'm talking to our CEO, and he comes up to me and he's like, hey, guess what? 2 more fires this week. Okay. So the one, 2 more fires this week. So, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires this week. Okay. So, the one, 2 more fires One was, it wasn't washing the tractor, it was actually an arson claim. Somebody broke into a dealership and they stole a bunch of stuff. To cover their tracks, they decided it'd be a good idea to light the place on fire. Okay, so we'll see if we can find that person and get our $50 a quarter maybe restitution. But the other one was a sprayer, and they did wash it. The same thing happened. So all different manufacturers. We had green, we had blue, we had red. I mean, it didn't really matter. But one kind of common denominator. These were all older tractors, older pieces of equipment. Because a lot of the newer stuff has kill switches on it now. Okay, so that's where a lot of that came from. So that was our losses, not counting the other dealer that we didn't pay. That's another $10 million on top of that. So it can really add up, and it's real. I don't know. You tell me. Is there some there there? Is this a coincidence? So I look at the data, and then I go back further, and I even dig back even deeper, and I see more and more of these things that have happened over time. We just happen to have a series of like 4 or 5 in a row. kind of the common thing there. So then I talked to some dealers that have, you guys have never seen it, never had it, right? I talked to, Titan Machinery, 100 locations, they've never had one either, right? So it's kind of crazy. Now, these are all dealers up north, which of course, if you can wash it outside, you have to put it in, right? So, all right, so what do we recommend? Blow off that water, speed up the drying. If in doubt, leave it outside, okay? And a little bit of a pain, but we really do recommend disconnecting those battery terminals, okay? Because, again, if it happens, it's going to be a major issue for you. So, if you're construction guys, you might be thinking, well, these are all ag guys where these claims happen. Well, 2024, we had 2 construction equipment dealers. Same thing happened. So, again, this year, nothing. Lithium batteries. So, what's the failure rate on lithium batteries? Anybody want to guess? You might be surprised. It's only like 1 in a million. It's a failure rate where you can actually have an incident with a lithium battery. Okay? But add up all the lithium batteries. Okay. Everybody's got a phone, right? You might have a watch, you might have a laptop. So in this room alone, we might have close to 100 lithium batteries operating. Okay? So 1 in a million adds up quite a bit in terms of failure rate. Or you could be riding on an airplane, drop your phone down the side, smash it, and it started on fire, right? That's what his buddy was flying with. So they dropped the phone.
It reclined the seat.
Reclined the seat.
Snapped the phone and it ignited on a commercial plane coming into San Francisco.
Try explaining that to TSA. So this one you might not be able to read very well. This is one of our claims. This was a industrial supply store. Fire breaks out in the morning. All the fire departments come to respond. Footage obtained from security cameras. Find the origin. It's the charger plugged in, right? Lithium battery had been left on that charger, started the fire, and that's their claim. So the question is, right now, where are your chargers? Do you know what's happening with them? All plugged in? Mm-hmm. These new batteries, I mean, they're about 40 minutes, they're charged, right? So, so where are they at? What's happening with those batteries? Oops, go back here. All right, anybody got an e-scooter? So I did this presentation about 3 months ago at another conference, and after I'm done with it, the guy comes up to me, he's like, hey, we have one of those in our shop, okay? An e-scooter. But, so New York City, you probably heard before, there's been some e-scooter fires, so there's a ton of these things in New York City. I Googled it, and there was like 175 e-scooter fire claims in New York City in 2023, okay? So what I'm going to show you is an overcharge of an e-scooter. Now there's several cameras there. There's like 6 cameras. Okay, this is after an hour and 39 minutes and 24 seconds, that battery has been way overcharged. Okay, so this is a test. This is not real. This was a controlled test. But, so you look at all these cameras. There's your e-scooter up there. And I'm going to play this video. You can see what happens in less than a minute. Start to see the smoke coming in there. So it doesn't take much. Plus, you look at all the fuel there for that couch and that carpeting. That's gonna take care of that very quickly. So point there is these lithium batteries. They can overcharge, especially if they're damaged, and we can have issues. There it is, less than a minute. So what do we got here? Looks really nice and neat, right? But the cabinet is a wood cabinet. So again, I'm not an expert in lithium battery technology, but if one of those goes, what do you think happens? Yeah, that might be a problem, right? So what do we recommend? Follow the manufacturer's instruction. So we actually, if you go to our website, federatedinsurance.com, we did a webinar on this last week. It's about 20 minutes. And you get on our website, go down and talk about all these things. And I kind of went through it this morning again to listen to more information on these lithium batteries. But one of the things they say is read the instructions when you buy something. and what you should do as far as charging. So follow the manufacturer's instructions, store the batteries in a cool, dry place. If you got somewhere that's hot, you might have an issue with that more so than not. Inspect the batteries for damage. So this is where we typically would have more problems, is if the battery is dropped or damaged. That's where you're gonna have a bigger issue. So you really need to make sure that if something happens to that battery, that you're not putting it back on that charger and it's a damaged battery, right? Remove the ones from service that are damaged, and once they're charged, take them off the charger, and they should not be left overnight. So we do recommend timers, if you can put it on a timer. And we can, there's actually a UL listed metal cabinet. UL came out with their requirements and say this is what meets our requirements. You can buy those metal cabinets now for that as well. So I'll give you this handout. I think I have enough of them. We put out a ton of material, Federated does, as far as safety risk management material. Not gonna lie, I don't read it all. Okay? I read this one. I was actually flying, going somewhere, I read this. What do you think I did when I got off the plane?
Through your phone, right?
No, I immediately called my wife and said, take everything that's charging and shut it off, okay? Take it off, shut the charger off, right? So, it's real, we've been having problems. So what are there, some other issues? Electrical, heating, oily rags, and housekeeping. Go through that. Electrical boxes, what is the purpose of an electrical box? Yeah, it's overcurrent protection, like Bruce said. And second one is if there's a fire, it's all confined, right? So what do we want to do with electrical boxes? Is there any indication of a problem there? Something wrong with those circuits, right? Okay. How about here? The one on the right side. Might have been something a little hot, right? All right, the one on the left side, you can't really tell. And that's a company, it's called Stay-Block. It's a manufacturer of boxes that essentially they did not get their approval from UL, Underwriters Laboratories, when they developed this box. So it's a defective box. If you're insured with us, we're gonna tell you to take that out, okay? Because they've had many issues with it. So we don't see too many of them anymore, but there's a few out there. How about here? What's the OSHA requirement? 3 feet, yeah. So it's hard to get to the box if we need to do something there. A lot of,
You got a water one right below the center.
yeah, you also got, there's an oxygen tank way on the left side there. Which could help feed the fire a little bit. How about here? So this daisy chaining is not a good thing to do. That's when you put all this stuff together like this. And the other question is, where do you think those were bought? Who knows, right? Okay. The ones in the middle, there's obvious problem there with the wiring. And then of course on the way on the right side, that's a space heater, which is daisy chained. Had a dealer that had a fire in December. They really managed it very well, getting back into business. In 10 weeks, they were back in. Okay, now they had several locations, but they called me and said, okay, we want to tell you what we've done since. They took every space heater, gone. Every coffee maker, gone. Okay, and they said every location now, if you want a coffee maker or if you want a space heater, here's the models you can buy. Okay, so they automatically shut off, or like the space heaters, if there's motion, it'll shut off. So I mean, they really went to the extremes to make sure that this does not happen again. And the fire they had was washing a piece of equipment. We can't determine with certainty, was it the washing, because they did it like 3 days before the fire happened. So, who knows? How about this one, on the left side? Any indication there might be a problem there? So what I have to wonder is, like, how many times did somebody walk by that? Right? How about the right side? Can't really tell, right? Looks good, right? So we use these infrared cameras that tell us if we have a hot spot. So you can actually get this. You can see the name of the manufacturer up there, FLIR, FLIR. If you go just Google it, or I mean go to Amazon. They're about $300-400. They're pretty inexpensive to really just run through your locations to make sure that we don't have any of these hot spots that are happening. Because again, do you want the fire or do you want the prevent the fire? So, and our people have all this stuff, so we do it with our clients. We go out there and do that. And then the rag cans, making sure we use this. These spontaneous combustion flames are real; they do happen. Making sure that everything is tidied up and put away in the cans. So, when I started doing this job with Federated about 5 years ago, I'm asking our people the question like, okay, if I'm working in my garage and I just wipe up some gas, what do I do with that rag? I don't have a rag can. What do you get? What should you do with it?
Put it outside.
Yeah, that's the answer. Yeah, you can either get it wet, lay it outside on a piece of concrete, let it dry out, okay? So, because it does happen, we've seen claims in this area, spontaneous combustion type claims, so. Rain cans work, make sure the lids get closed. And then the last topic here is pyrolysis. And this is basically, you look at something and say, okay, there's gotta be a problem here because of the heat, the exposure, right? So that one, you can see on the roof there that the heat is getting too close, and that's to that insulation. It's starting to become a problem there, right? That one, same thing. It's kind of hard to see in that picture with that stack going up. You can see an issue. Plus we got all this stuff stacked on top there. Okay. And there, a couple more. One on the left, that's pretty obvious, right? Right by that old-time light bulb. And then the one on the right, it must really just be a clearance thing there with the wood. So we also recommend, and I've got this as a handout, a checklist to have somebody go through the dealership walkthroughs and just check those things on a regular basis. I would also advise that you switch out that person doing that, okay? Because what happens after about 3 months, the same person doing it? Yeah, you get the old straight line, everything's good, right? So, or maybe have somebody go to a different location and with a different set of eyes look through things. So I'm going to give you some things here. I'll put it all up front here. This is where I feel like the home shopping network. So we've got, this can go in your wash bay. This is like a plastic, so it's water resistant. I've got a bunch of these. If you want some, you can take as many as you want. I'll leave those up here. And then I've also got some of the lithium battery ones that you can post in your shop as well. You can take some of those. And if there's not enough, I've got a little order form that you can take back and send it back to me, order as many as you want. So, what else we got? I think that's it. Any questions?
Jerry, what's your opinion on oil burners in shops?
You know, we haven't seen anything from that. You know, as long as it's maintained regularly, you're doing everything that you should be doing to keep the maintenance up. Yeah, we haven't. The claims we've seen lately have been electrical, of course the wash bay, and then we had a dealership where they bought a location. They decided to upgrade the entire location. Okay. Spent a lot of money doing it. The one thing they did upgrade was the mechanical system for heating and AC, and we had a fire come from that. Okay, so again, you know, if get a licensed electrician in there, get somebody to make sure you're checking the stuff on a regular basis. Don't just let it go.
Do you guys incentivize to like put in an outdoor or like a outside wash bay, like the separate from the main building?
Well, so the question is, do we incentivize or give you credit maybe if you have an outside wash bay? Depends when you're washing. Okay. So if you're washing in January, February, what are you going to do with that piece of equipment?
But if it's separate from the building, like if you build your own wash bay that's not attached.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I mean, our pricing is based on claims, past history, and you know, it's like driving. Okay, we put federated. We offer a telematics device. Okay, for our clients for driving, and people will come to me and say, well, if I do that, will I get a discount? And I'll say, if you do that, tell me you're not going to have claims. Okay, it's hard to say, right? We're still probably going to have some claims happen. I will tell you the telematics does work, though. It does change behavior, okay? And we just want less claims. You want less claims, right? You want people to actually be driving and not be doing all kinds of other stuff in that vehicle. Those are kind of dovetail. Any other questions there? So, well, thank you, and thanks to the association for letting us be part of your meeting as well. Oh, one more thing. There's some golf tees here, so I want to put a plug for Jamie's got a golf outing coming up here in a couple of weeks. You can take your tees with you when you go to the golf outing. So, thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.